Welcome to Run Mode, an industrial automation podcast by Mation. In today's episode, we'll talk more in depth about Mation product offerings. We'll touch on some related industry news, and we have a special guest, Ameer from Phoenix Contact, to talk to us about power reliability. As you remember, last episode, we talked about the history of Mation. Let's talk about what Mation has to offer its customers. Mation is a high-tech automation distributor, and when you check out our line card, you'll see robotics, pneumatics, enclosures, machine safety, motion control, panel components, process automation, power transmission, sensing and inspection, connectors and cabling, logic control and visualization, and industrial internet and industrial network. Let's talk about some industry news. Automation and artificial intelligence. They kind of go hand in hand, but with AI hype, which jobs might be affected by AI? Forbes article just released last March about 4 industries which could be impacted by AI. Most impacted jobs may be finance and banking, revenue generation, or maybe transaction monitoring so that you make sure you don't spend too much or save too little. Media and marketing. Currently, reporters are using some of those services like ChatGPT to write news articles. However, they are often criticized for providing false information. Legal services, there was an attorney that used ChatGPT to publish a 14-page legal paper in Social Science Research Network. A lot of information in there that was all generated via AI. Maybe some of those least impacted jobs, and that's where AI and automation are a little bit different. In our business, we talk a lot more about automation, and that's primarily manufacturing and factory worker area. Automation has the highest impacts or has had impact. Maybe you speed up a process, maybe improve overall equipment effectiveness. Where AI does play a role is in robotics. You can use AI vision systems to realize where the box is when it's being put on a pallet. You can also look at handwritten notes and determine what work needs to be done. Earth Day was on April 22nd. The industry and the world are moving towards alternative energy sources like wind and solar, energy storage solutions like hydrogen and battery technologies, and energy conversion and delivery solutions to bring that power to where it's needed. Today we talk with Phoenix Contact about those types of products. We're here with Ameer from Phoenix Contact. Why don't you introduce yourself and a little bit about Phoenix Contact?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Terry. My name is Ameer. I'm one of Phoenix Contact sales engineers based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Been with the company for 3 years now. It's been an awesome time getting to know the industry and the ins and outs. As far as Phoenix Contact goes, we are a global market leader based out of Germany. We produce future-oriented products and components for the electrical controls, networking, and automation world. Most folks, I would say, know us for our innovative terminal blocks, but we've grown to be a manufacturer that does a lot more than that. So pretty much what I tell everyone is anything you can find in an industrial control cabinet, Phoenix Contact probably has an offering for. So power supplies, UPSs, relays, surge suppressors, Ethernet switches, PLCs, you name it. If it goes on a DIN rail inside an industrial control cabinet, we probably have a solution for it. Like I said, we're based out of Germany. The company was founded in 1923. So last year we celebrated our 100th year anniversary, which is an incredible milestone for any company to reach. And the U.S. subsidiary has been around since 1981. Our U.S. headquarters are located in beautiful Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I don't know if you've had the chance to be out.
I have, and you do a layover when you go there, unless you want to drive.
That is the frustrating part. I've had to connect through Newark once or twice, but it's amazing. I spent a year out there when I first started with the company, and yeah, it was a good time. The facility out there houses our manufacturing and logistics operations to support both North and South America.
Yeah, and you know you've made it when, like a Phillips screwdriver, right? You know you made it when everybody calls it the Phoenix Contact Connector. So part of that is the inside the control panel, the
Correct.
power coming in, power going out, and a lot of the conversations around power reliability. In your experience, what happens when you don't take that seriously, when you don't take that quality of the power seriously? What kind of things can happen?
The analogy that I most commonly use is, essentially the power of the cabinet is the heart of the cabinet. Without power, not much can be accomplished, right? So in an industrial control cabinet, you've typically got single phase or three-phase power coming in that needs to be brought down to 24 volt DC to feed all the other panel components as well as field devices. And if there's any disruptions in that power, then the logic platform is basically rendered useless. So from Phoenix Contact's perspective, I would say true power reliability is comprised of 4 different pillars. We've got protection, conversion, monitoring, and distribution. So when we're talking about protection, we're talking about all our offerings that address overcurrent and overvoltage situations. So our surge suppressors and device circuit breakers. When we're talking about conversion, we're talking about, again, converting that AC power to DC power while providing redundancy and battery backup. When we're talking monitoring, we're monitoring for faults in the system through the use of voltage transducers, current transducers, monitoring relays, and energy meters. And lastly, distributing that protected, converted, monitored power to end devices and field devices through the use of terminal blocks. So in order to have true power reliability, all those 4 pillars need to be adopted into the system.
So the question that sometimes comes up in people's minds is like being proactive, right? Mm-hmm. So if you put a surge suppressor on your computer at home because the power outside the building or outside your house is going to give you noise, it's going to trip something, it's going to blow up your computer.
Fingers crossed it doesn't happen.
I actually had a customer call me the other day. They plugged in a USB cord from a controller into their laptop, and their laptop smoked. Literally, the smoke rolled out of it. And now he's scrambling to try to get his programs off the old laptop. Can the hard drive work and all that stuff? So what are some of the other challenges that you ran into in talking to customers or that you've seen or heard from your colleagues over the years?
I would say the example that you just shared is a typical situation that we run into, especially when it comes to the protection pillar. In most cases, I feel like surge suppression is almost an afterthought where a customer only really considers using surge suppressors when a problem happens, when in reality, it should be more of a proactive measure that's put in place before to not have to run into issues like you described. So, my proactive way of pitching the surge suppression solution is using our circle of protection concept. And what I mean by that is identify what exactly it is that you're looking to protect in the cabinet, right? It could very well be the entire industrial control cabinet or the PLC, HMI, and IPC, and draw a circle around it. And any line or conductor that intersects that circuit is a potential for a transient to be coupled in and causing problems. And from there, once you identify the conductors that have the possibility of introducing transients, we can talk about the appropriate surge suppressors to use to prevent that from happening and elongating the lifespan of the system. And, for Phoenix Contact, we have what we call our limited lifetime warranty. So if you use our surge suppressors in conjunction with our power supplies, anything that is downstream from those components is covered under our limited lifetime warranty. So everything from...
the IPCs is real popular.
Right.
Computers blow up, hard drives go out, and now you got a 5-year.
Exactly, yep. So limited lifetime warranty applies for everything, and then with our IPCs and HMIs, our 2-year manufacturer warranty is extended to 5 years, which, when you're making that big of an investment for such a component, you're really...
It's huge. It's huge.
Absolutely.
So now that you've been under the, you've been there for 3 years, got a lot under your belt, you got to have some success stories. You saved the day.
Right.
You saved the day.
Yeah. The one success story that I've been sharing lately has been with an end user in the area. I got a call from their main engineer, their electrical engineering manager, basically saying, hey, every time a storm rolls through and we have a mains interruption, our UPS system is not kicking in. And after looking into it and identifying the root cause, they came to learn that in most cases, their battery was actually drained and they weren't getting that information and insight in order to do predictive maintenance. So we worked with them to develop a uninterruptible power supply system using our DC UPSs and batteries. So when you use a Phoenix Contact battery with a DC UPS, you get extra diagnostics and information about the state of the entire system. So you get the state of health and state of charge of the battery so that you're prepared when situations like that arise where a mains interruption is expected. They had 7 different production lines, all of which were critical to their operations. It was a discrete manufacturing process, and our UPS was able to ensure that uptime was always there regardless of what was happening around them, whether it be storms, mains interruptions from utilities unrelated to storms, so on and so forth. So that's a success story that I'm very pleased with, just because, again, we eliminated a lot of unnecessary downtime and ensured that their production schedules were being met.
What about any other pieces of advice you might give somebody that now all of a sudden realizes that they might be a little bit vulnerable to not being properly protected from a power reliability perspective?
I would say, again, incorporating all those 4 pillars when designing a system, so protection, conversion, monitoring, and distribution, are crucial to have a strong and solid, powerly reliable system. And then, the circular protection concept that I shared earlier would be a good one to also just proactively use when designing new systems and machines.
So if you had a crystal ball, tell the audience all the things that Phoenix is going to release in the next 18 months.
Ooh.
No, just kidding. That's always a topic of like, I don't want to talk about anything we're going to release. And
yeah,
I've heard a story where they said if you can't drop it on your foot, you shouldn't be talking about it. But I mean, what are some of the things? What do you think the future might look like around power reliability?
I would say, as far as our offerings go, we're seeing a lot of advancement in our electronic circuit breaker systems and offerings, and our power supplies. So the most recent innovative solution that we've released is our 3rd generation of Trio power supplies, where we actually have an integrated electronic circuit breaker in the power supply. So it's a 2-in-1 solution where you're powering and protecting your end devices. And off of that same power supply, you can have NEC Class 2 outputs, which in the past, you typically had to have a dedicated power supply for such circuits. So, Phoenix is always innovating. I mean, like I said earlier, we're known for our innovative terminal blocks. That's a true and tried technology that to this day, we're still innovating. So I can only imagine what the future holds for power reliability.
So you're saying that if you were talking to somebody 3 weeks ago, you could probably talk to somebody about something new today, which is always kind of fun because things are coming out the door. You guys are on top of it, making your case for these types of topics. Well, thanks for spending time with us. Any final thoughts to the audience? Any recommendations? Any information you might want to, lure them in to having a meeting with you?
Sure. Yeah, no, I would say as far as learning more about Phoenix Contact power reliability, our website is a great first stop for that. We have a lot of information on there about our products and solutions and the markets that we serve. If you're looking to get in touch with your local Phoenix Contact sales team, just go to your search engine of choice and look up Phoenix Contact, find a product expert. You're going to get a zip code lookup tool. Punch in your zip code and you'll have the contact information of your entire local sales team from Phoenix Contact, who are more than happy and willing to get in and help you out with your industrial control cabinet needs.
Thanks, Ameer, for sitting with us today. And as always, you can contact your PowerMation salesperson for more information on power reliability and Phoenix Contact. Thanks. We'd like to thank you and Ameer from Phoenix Contact for joining us today. Subscribe to our podcast and our YouTube channel to stay up to date on future episodes. See you next time.